In this video, I'm ranking the best and the worst fat loss diets for women over 40, and at the end, I'll tell you which one is the best for losing belly fat. I'm Josh, and we have helped over 2,000 women over the age of 40 lose more than 20,000 kilograms naturally. So this is based on all of our experience. Okay, coming in at number one, and the worst thing that you could be doing if you're trying to lose weight: detox cleanses and juice fasts. I'm rating this a 1 out of 10. Look, if you're doing a detox for the purpose of detoxifying the body, then it's not too bad. But if you're using detoxes and juice fasts as a way to lose weight, whether it's 5 kilograms or 50 kilograms, it's not going to work. The reason I'm rating this one a 1 out of 10 when it comes to weight loss is because it's usually only short-term water loss. So when you look at the scales, ladies, there are 3 things that make up that number that you see on the scale. And no, it's not all body fat. So the 3 things is your body fat mass, your muscle mass, and the water mass of your body. They're the 3 things that are going to fluctuate the most. The things like your organ weight, your bone weight, those kind of things are not going to really move. So the only 3 things that are moving are those 3. Now, if you do a detox or a fast and you lose 5 kilograms in a week and you are celebrating, that is a really bad thing. The reason why: it has been clinically proven that our bodies can only let go of a certain amount of body fat per week. So when I see someone losing like 4, 5, 6, 7 kilos in a week or 10 days, it's not all body fat. Now, if you're looking at a number, what number should you be using? Should I be aiming for 1 kilo a week or 2 pounds a week? No, the answer is not a specific number, because how can a 50 kilo woman and a 100 kilo woman have the same number and unit of measurement, 1 kilogram per week? It doesn't work like that. So to make things nice and simple, we want to aim for losing 1% of your total body weight per week. So keeping it easy, if I'm 100 kilos and I lose 1%, that's 1 kilo. If I'm 100 kilos and I lose 2%, that's 2 kilograms. If I'm 50 kilograms, 1% is 500 grams. That's half a kilo. So they both, the 100 kilo and the 50 kilogram person, are losing at the same rate, different number, same percentage. Now, what tends to happen is when you're doing detoxes and fasts, you're taking out your carbs, you're taking out the food, you're taking out all the bad things, sugar, stuff like that. Now, unfortunately, you will see big drops in the scales very quickly when you're taking this part. So generally speaking, the word carbohydrate, hydrate like water, water like water mass in the body. When you take out your carbs, you reduce your water weight because your carbohydrates go down. And this is when you get the big numbers on the scale. Like, oh my God, I lost 4 kilograms in 2 days. All you did was probably dehydrate the body, reduce the amount of water mass that you had in the body, and you got these big shifts on the scale. It looks good, but when you put the carbohydrates back in, the weight comes back up. And that's what we call the rebound effect. That is why I'm not rating them anything higher than a 1 out of 10. You usually don't lose a lot of body fat, unfortunately. Coming in at number 2 are very low calorie diets. So if you're eating 1,000 or less calories, I'm rating that a 2 out of 10. You may or may not know this, but toddlers eat more than 1,000 calories and their body is significantly smaller than the demands of your adult body. So when you're reducing your calories too low, what tends to happen is you create stress on the body. So you get cortisol spikes, and when your cortisol goes up, that means there's more stress. Your recovery is not as good. Maybe you're feeling a little lethargic, not as good energy. Your sleep can be affected. Sometimes binge eating cycles or crazy cravings for sweets and sugars and carbs. But also, it's easier to gain weight through the belly fat when you have high cortisol levels. So yes, they might start out pretty good, as in you're like, yes, I'm losing weight. But as soon as your body starts to realize what's going on, maybe after the first week or the second week, your body starts to kind of plateau out. Your metabolism starts to slow down and everything dials down. The reason that this happened is all of the functions of the body run on what we put into the body. So if you're consistently not putting enough calories in, your metabolism decreases. If you're not putting enough protein in, your muscle mass will decrease. If you're not putting enough fat into the body, your hormonal functions will go all over the place. Now, if you're in perimenopause or menopause or postmenopause, these things are vital to running the body, feeling good, losing weight. So even though they might have worked in the past, they're probably not going to work now. And you've probably experienced that. You're like, man, every time I go back and do the 800 calorie diet or 1,000 calories, it does not work. You might even gain weight. That is why. Next, we have the keto diet. Again, I'm rating this a 2, maybe a 3 out of 10. If you could sustain it for a long period of time, then yes, we might be rating this like a a 6 or a 7. The reason I'm rating it so low is because people just can't stick to it. Like any diet, it's not how effective is it, it's how long can you do it for. The best diets, which I'll go through a little bit later, are things that you can do indefinitely. But keto, it does work for some, but unfortunately for women, it can ruin your hormones. It can cause your hair to fall out. If you have underlying issues with your body, some people get their gallbladder removed. Now, these things aren't good just to lose some weight. There are easier ways to lose weight without stuffing up your body. Other problems include you isolate yourself. Not everybody's doing the keto diet with you. Maybe you eat differently from your kids. Maybe you can't socialize. So that means you're staying home more than you're saying yes to going out. And what happens is people can do it for so long, it gets difficult. They start putting the carbs back in and they regain the weight. So generally speaking, I wouldn't even start it. Next, we are talking intermittent fasting. I'm rating this a 3 out of 10. It's better for men than it is for women. Just because you've seen your husband or a guy at work or your brother do it, doesn't mean it's going to be working for you. Look, most diets have been built and studied on men, not necessarily women over the age of 40. So just because there's a lot of science on it, did you actually go through and see who the candidates were of the study? 9 times out of 10, it's going to be geared for people under 40 and geared more to around men. So what happens is, because women have less testosterone than men, they have less lean muscle mass, which means they have a less, BMR, basal metabolic rate, less of a metabolism. Fasting causes a lot more stress a lot quicker than it does for blokes. Now what happens is a couple of things. If you're more stressed, again, more cortisol, more belly fat. This means if you're skipping meals and you're hungry, hunger dictates you eat the tasty foods, not the broccoli, so that people are going to crave more, again, carbohydrates, sugar, tasty food. And I know you've probably been told that you need to eat less in order to lose the weight. Now the problem is, most of the women we have talked to, and that is thousands and thousands of women, they are already undereating. So if you go from undereating to extreme undereating, well, you're just pushing your body too far. Metabolisms will have to slow down. Your body will start then going into more of like a starvation mode and starting to hold onto body fat rather than letting it go. All right, let's start getting into some of the good stuff. So let's talk about flexible tracking, or if it fits your macros. I rate this a 9 out of 10. So this approach, if it fits your macros, it's more around you get your macro targets. Now, if you don't know what a macro target is, your macros are your macronutrients, so things like protein, carbs, and fats. So you might have heard that term thrown around. Now you know what it means. You're welcome. So when it comes to if it fits your macros, what coaches or trainers, whatever, whoever's doing up your food for you, they generally give you like a protein target, a carb target, and a fat target. And they're like, look, if it fits those macros, you can eat anything. Generally speaking, 9 out of 10. Like, it's a really good way of actually eating food that you like. That means you can structure your breakfast, your lunch, and dinner however you want to do it. If you want to have steak for breakfast and you want to have cereal or eggs for dinner, you can do it. If it fits your macros, you can do whatever you want to do. As long as you're keeping the protein high enough and your calories steady by hitting the targets and not going over them, generally speaking, you're probably going to see some pretty good results. All right, next we're talking high protein diets. Again, I'm going to rate this a 9 out of 10. If it fits your macros is good. The downside is people are really trying to make sure that they're bang on with their targets. Now, it's okay to get obsessive. It's okay to really hone in on what you need to do. But if you're finding that you're going over your carbs or you're going over your fats and your protein's low, you're not really hitting those targets, what's going to happen is your calories are either going to be too high or too low. So what I find one of the best ways to do is a high protein diet, but also calorie control. That means you have a protein target that you need to hit each day and you need to hit your calorie target. So what we like to do with our clients, go, hey, here's your calories, here's your protein, but your fats and your carbohydrates, they can be sliding macros. That means they can be down one day, up one day, fats are low, carbs are high, fats are low. They can flip around. It doesn't really matter. That way you have flexibility. As long as you hit your calories and you hit your protein, then you're off to the races. So if I was going to give you some specific targets, let's say, now I can't tell you exactly how many calories to eat because your calories aren't determined like everybody eats 1500. Your calories are determined on your activity level. So someone who is 80 kilos and a sedentary worker versus someone who's 80 kilos and an active worker, so very active at work, those people won't have the same calorie targets. This person burns less calorie than this person. So it's more designed around your output and what you do each day rather than you're this age, this height, and this weight, go eat this calories. Doesn't really work. But if I was going to give you a bit of a helping hand today, if you're going to split up your macros, 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat works pretty well, nice and balanced. So when it comes to choosing the diet, there are many paths that you can take, as we've gone through today. Pretty much just scratch the surface. There's so many diets. The thing is, can you stick to it long term? That is how you pick your plan. I'm like, can you stick to it for 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, 10 years? Does it fit your lifestyle? Can your kids do it? Are you eating together? Can you take it to work? Is it family friendly? Does it allow some flexibility? If you can't tick all those boxes, then why start in the first place? The thing that's going to hinder your progress is which path that you take. All of them can get you to the goal. Some of them very difficult over the mountain. Some of them nice and flat, easy gradient. So what we like to do for our clients is make it as easy as possible. If they can do it as part of their local grocery shop, if the kids can eat it, if they can take it to work, if they can do it on the weekends, if they can do it at work, after work, then they're probably going to be successful. So it's not just about losing the weight, it's keeping it off. It's making sure that you can continue to keep the results well after you've done it. Weight loss should not be something that you manage every couple of years. Weight loss is a problem to be solved. Learn the skills, solve the problem, put it behind you, close the door. So if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button. Every week we're dropping real strategies for women over the age of 40 to lose this weight and learn how to keep it off. That's enough for me, and I'll see you in the next one.